So this is session 15 of our group 6 who doesn't have a name yet because you guys are too lazy to actually pick one.
Well,
I thought we went on Weekend Warriors.
Oh, Jews and Gingers.
Yeah, I thought we picked Naga Stole My Bike.
Oh.
Pick that one.
what about the link to the past?
Have Rabbi will travel.
I could check the link. I don't think it's been changed at all ever since I updated it.
I mean, there were plenty of suggestions on it.
Yeah, there are a lot of sessions like the Antichrist and stuff. You guys can. I'll just fucking post you the link, and you guys can decide during the fucking game when you maybe.
In Discord.
Yeah, in Discord and D&D. There you go. Yeah, very good. Okay.
crap.
Besides that, last session was apparently lost into the archives and maybe be recovered. We don't know yet. Some of you were not here, but you've traveled from the forest of Golfamir. If you remember 2 sessions back, you've met the Weavers, so they claim to be at least, in the forest of Golfamir in a temple, which they gave you some sort of a future reading and informational kind of stuff. It was kind of boring. You left that, heading towards Westgate as you decided to go there. You're traveling together with Almani, Ravan Vindir, an old elf warrior with a fire sword who's apparently too old to actually live, but it still lives. And a big giant buckethead, which you met last session, called Yorman Payne. You know him very well.
Oh, he turned up again.
Yeah, he turned up again at last session during your night stay at a camp. Scared the shit out of, I think, one of you. I don't remember who was guarding that now.
It was me.
Oh, yeah. Scared the shit out of Mr. Adrian there. Yeah. And you continued along towards Westgate, where you actually went away from the border of Golfamir, somewhere on the border between Golfamir and Amn, somewhere around here. You led into a camp of orcs. You met 2 of their leaders, Yahardan and Duzhar. They were welcoming. They asked you to help them with some sort of a problem within their own ranks. Murdering within the orc ranks is not possible, so they asked you to do this.
Was a mad cook.
Was a fat mad cook with some wolves, with some wargs. You received one of you received the warg figurines. Others received all kinds of tattoos and warding stones for their weapons that actually gave them some sort of buff. So please remember those. And now you are somewhere at this point, the blue little dot, heading towards Westgate. You spend the night under a big tree because you want to reach Westgate before the night end, and you know that you're going to do it today, but you're going to be getting to Westgate around evening time. It'll be late. During your walk and during your stay under that tree, the first rain started to drop. And with that, it reminds some of you, those who are a bit more nostalgic or less nostalgic, about a certain celebration that holds around the whole of Faerûn. It's the solstice, the beginning of the winter. A lot of cultures kind of celebrate the thing differently, but there's at least 4 main celebration styles. They are out there. Most of you know that, but others will probably tell you those things while you're traveling, because the solstice is a very, very wide known tradition and very respectful among older races. For the dwarves, for example, the coming of the winter is the coming of the floods and snow. Most dwarven cities are bordered within stone or are built within mountains. And they embrace that celebration because this celebration shows them how strong somebody who's determined can be. That even a drop of water, such a fragile thing, if it persists enough, it can shape stone. And the dwarves take that as a sign of determination, honor, and togetherness that actually brings the celebration forward. The gnomes, funnily enough, are also celebrating the solstice in a way the humans do as well. The humans kind of adapted it from the gnomes. It's giving and sharing, being with family and friends. It's more of a happy holiday kind of thing, coming of the winter. Stay together and warm. For the elves, it's a lot more spiritual. The tradition is not easily skipped. Most people want to be part of it and have to be part of it. Adulthood, for those who reach 100 years old, they move from childhood to adulthood, and in a celebration of the solstice. So for the elves, if you don't celebrate the solstice when 100 years old, you don't kind of pass from childhood to adulthood. You remain a child. This is in their beliefs, at least. And for children who of ages 30, receive their first family name and title. Up until age 30, they were just a child. Therefore, the celebration for the elves is a great honor and also a great shame for those who do not participate. The orcs, similar to the elves, kind of have the same thing with different years, but they also added a small kind of a fighting ring style into it. New adults fight one another, not to the death, but the winners can get high ranks in the military of the tribe, and some of them can go as high as being the war chief's right-hand man, and maybe one day become one as well. So for those of you who are more traditional, will know this. And even those who less traditional will know this. The solstice is considered to be a very, very important celebration. And the first rain usually symbolizes it. So during your walk towards Westgate, some of you remind that, some of you talk about it. Do you do anything?
I guess not.
Deshaun would like to harvest for our alchemical ingredients on the way.
Very well. Roll your thingamagogon.
Thingamagoogan. I'm guessing you're meaning the alchemy
Yes, the alchemy
skill.
thing.
Okay, here we go.
On your way, you find some leaves, actually aloe vera leaves, spread around the road. You know that they're used for cauterizing wounds. When you apply that gel within them on a wound, it will heal the person for 1 HP. You got about 5 of those.
Is it a bonus action to use this?
That's a good question. I'll give you a yes. It's 1 HP. Why not? It's a bonus action.
Okay.
It's not useful for a full action to use. But it can return somebody from the dead, basically. If it's 0, it can give him 1 HP back. Kind of. So we're working
Okay.
with this
Lots
system.
of bleeding.
Yeah, you can kind of cauterize the bleeding and assist him in a way, which so we'll work with the D&D rules. If you heal him for 1 HP, you will get 1 HP. So it's not gonna change this rule.
Okay.
Very good.
Could I try to study my tome?
You can, yes. Which tome is that?
Tome of Shadowrand. I'll work on that.
All right.
Right now, I only know the title, and it's written in Celestial. I
Oh,
know
okay, that one.
very little, but I'm trying to study.
Roll intelligence check.
Unskilled.
Unskilled, yes. You actually managed to decipher a few words. At least letters in this case. So you know what the words look like.
Okay.
Combine the letters together. You still have a hard time, difficulty to combining them because of the punctuation and such.
Yeah.
But you do know what the words look like, and you can write them down in a journal and try to figure them out. So you're basically trying to learn the language.
Okay.
Um,
So, would I change from alphabet to simple words? Maybe. When it comes to the language.
It's more like a simple combination of letters. So if there's a word that's made of the 2 letters, like no, yes, such things, like simple words, you will know.
Okay, yeah.
You will notice them.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna
simple words, you will know.
Yeah, simple words. Okay.
Kind of when you know a new language, like Spanish, C, like that.
So now I know simple words and swearing in Celestial.
Yes. Swearing, sure, why not? Go for it.
Well, yeah, I learned that
Yeah, I guess.
2 sessions ago. God damn it.
True, that is true. On your way, as you're walking towards Westgate, it is kind of noon time. You will reach Westgate in a couple of hours. It's going to be evening. You notice during your travels that a certain member of your party, the little elven girl, is a bit down. you've known her for quite a while, and you've known her to be. Each of you will take that personality to his account the way he likes the personality, more or less. But you've known her as a playful, trying to be very funny, quite likable person. She's always, if you tell a story around the campfire, she will always be focused on you, and she will listen intently, and she will join a conversation. She will always try to be laughing and more approachable. Well, today she's a bit down on her luck, or at least not very talkative, which gives you a more feeling of something is not right. To those of you who actually notice and care, again, completely.
Amiria cares.
Maria cares. So while you're walking towards Westgate, you can see Almani kind of in the back of the group, walking with her head to the ground, kind of kicking stone. And
Caring or not, can my character discern if this is because she has missed her, so to say, adulthood thing, or is she too young for that?
You can discern that it's kind of it happened after the first rain, so you can kind of guess that it's considered towards the solstice, which didn't begin yet, but you know it's you might think it's something doing with that. Yes.
Okay.
I see her slumping and walking at the back, and I walk next to her. And that's all I do. Simply walk next to her, comforting me.
Gaviel,
Yes.
I have something called identifying necklace in my inventory. Does that mean that I can identify things?
Yes. Didn't I give you the account for that? Like when it's done? I think it's a long rest or something, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
Like once every long rest. If
Can I identify the black diamond dagger?
Oh, interesting. You may try.
Sure, I'll try.
You will need to roll Arcana for that.
Let's roll this bitch. Ding, 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 ding.
You managed to receive some sort of vibe from the dagger itself. Everything you know about the dagger, which I honestly forgot half of it. So,
It's a
Yeah,
black
take
diamond
notes.
dagger that sucks the life out of people that get stabbed with it, but that's all that so far I know of it.
it is made of black diamond. That's that far you know as well, I assume.
Yeah, black diamond dagger that sucks the life out of people that are stabbed with it. That's literally the extent of the knowledge that I had before that roll.
When you try to identify the item, within it, a certain image appears, and if you look closely, it's an image of a man actually trying to claw his way out of the dagger itself. And to your extended knowledge from the Nine Hells, this is a trapped soul, a tormented one as well, which will increase the dagger's potential to relinquish one's life. As in, every time somebody dies, that the soul is trapped back in a dagger and the other one gets released.
Oh, okay. Does that change the properties of the weapon at all? Is it still the
Currently
same?
not, but you gain some knowledge about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Very well. What's your face? Amiria,
Yes.
I'm just gonna put something a bit more in the background because it's more interesting. As you walk beside Almani, for about an hour she doesn't say anything, but after that she kind of raises her head to you and says, "You know the solstice is coming soon, right?"
Oh yeah, I know of the solstice.
I'd like to celebrate the solstice.
What's it? Sorry.
I'd like to celebrate the solstice.
You'd like to? Well, why not? I'm up for a party. What do we have to do?
Well, I'm coming on my 30th year in this realm. I'm a bit young as a child, actually. But raised by a human family just gives me the more potential to actually walk around and study more. But I don't have a family. The closest thing to a father figure I have is Raven Vindir.
Well, I guess you should think yourself lucky. My closest thing to a father tortures me.
Ah, Yeah, I've heard about your winged situation.
But hey, family is, to me, as someone who doesn't really have a real family is those that are around you. Those that you toy with and torment and still stick around.
A flicker of a smile approaches her face when you say torment and play around with. She's kind of playful with that. She nods to you with a thankful face, but she still seems to be a bit down on her luck. But with a small smirk on her face.
I start slowly moving around the group nonchalantly and say, what's this thing about elves and turning 30 and celebration solstice? See if anyone's got any ideas.
Would I know anything, although being half-elf but raised by humans?
Yes, you would know, as you also lived close to Zambia. What you know is basically what I've told you about the thing that when an elf child reaches the age of 30, he receives his family name and his title. Up until that point, he was just child, or his first name. It's considered for the kids a great honor because they receive they're part of a family now. They're part of a group. They are part of something, and that teaches them towards adulthood. While children who do not have a family name or have a guardian will receive a title, and those who do not have those will just remain single-worded. It's considered to be abandoned.
Oh, so... Well, yeah, I'll try to explain them. This. Would I have experienced the same thing, though?
Yeah, you pretty much said the same thing. I'm not gonna let you...
Well, I am raised by humans. So...
Yes, but you are half-elf and you have lived close to Zambia, so...
I don't know who
You
my
should.
mother is. So I
For
brought...
humans, it's different.
Oh, so it's some sort of the same celebration, or...
For
it
humans,
some-
it's more of everybody knows what the other races kind of do in the solstice. It's widespread.
Okay.
But for humans, it's more of a tradition of giving and receiving and being with a family. Same goes for
Okay.
half-elves, actually, in this case.
Yeah, so I haven't experienced the same name.
No, you haven't experienced the
ceremony.
same solstice, but you do
Yeah.
have an elf with you, which is called Varys.
We do, yeah.
You do.
Varys is the new one, isn't he?
Indeed. And he's sweating right now, but it's fine. So basically, that's what you get from Darvon about the celebration. What I said, basically.
Though I'm a bit sharp in my tongue when explaining this to Ameria. Still not
Nah,
like
that
it.
wouldn't bother her. That wouldn't bother her at all. She probably would notice Varys sweating and the fact that he's an elf. I guess Varys is her next target. She'll walk over to Varys. And say, why are you sweating?
I was joking about that. But so, Varys,
Yep.
you have Amiria approaching you and trying to question you about something. Are you replying, talking, talkative? You barely met, actually. You met like like several days ago. You joined the group. You're kind of new in it.
Yeah, well, I look up on her and listen to her.
Okay, I start explaining, what's her name?
Almani.
Armani, that's it. I start explaining her plight, how she wants to celebrate solstice, but she doesn't feel that she has a family. And ask him what he did on his 30th solstice.
That is a question for Varys. Have you been raised with a family in your childhood?
Yes, I had ancestors, uh, which is why actually I'm going this path. So I guess I'm glad to help.
All right. Varys basically explains to you what this 30th year solstice was like.
Yeah.
In a sense, it was a big celebration where the community, the village, or a town, depending, is actually located part of the roads to make like a big parade. A lot of stations, celebrations are going around, music, people laughing and enjoying themselves. Those who are approaching adulthood actually are centered in a different location. They receive they receive a garment, an armor, a weapon, kind of like preparing them for the life outside as adulthood. Some of them go on pilgrimage after that day. Others stay with the families to help. Well, the children are in a different place, and they are walked with their fathers or mothers, depending on which side. Usually it's the father figure. Because the mother figure sends away the child to adulthood, and the father receives this child from into the family, basically. And where was I? Yeah, father. He tells you about the story that he remembers that he was sitting down on a chair, very kind of sweaty and scared. He doesn't know what the solstice is. It just told him it's a big celebration. Everybody's looking at him. And the father and mother actually come to the child and bless him with their family name, embrace him to the family, and make him their own, basically in a more traditional sense, spiritual. That is not their own, but more of a spiritual sense. From that day on, he can bear the family name freely, and he's part of this big tradition. And for a child to be embraced like that makes him feel a bit more refined. And that's what he's telling you, that it was very, very emotional for him.
Okay.
Just made that shit up, but it's fine.
I asked him where we would have to go and what we would have to do to get Armani to have her celebration.
I'll do it for you, Varys, because it's nothing you wrote. He says in a kind of a stretchy way that if she doesn't have a family, there's not much to do. She needs to find somebody that's part of the family who will embrace her. Otherwise, she remains that.
Okay.
Preferably an elf.
I'll get back to you. I might have an idea. I have to check his Bible.
Good job, Varys.
Yeah.
As we're traveling, can my character take a stock of the party and see if there's anyone who uses like one-handed swords?
Yes. Anybody using one-handed swords?
I do sometimes. I have a
Okay.
master sword, so I switch between one-handed and two-handed, depending.
I believe you also have Adrian that's using one-handed swords. I'm not sure if he's another one in the second hand. The rapier, I think he's using.
Yep.
Art is using a sword in each hand.
Yep.
And he's a bit quiet.
Yes.
Slightly.
This better?
No.
Yeah, I'll change stuff on Discord.
Yeah.
You're super quiet, by the way.
In the user settings on Discord, you should have your voice and video. Input volume should be maxed. Except for Shady, because he's loud.
He is loud.
I was born with this gift, man.
Born with this gift.
Gift?
So if it's a gift, mate.
Is it really a gift? Is that bad?
Yes.
Yes, you're still low.
I've got him at 200% and he's still quiet.
My input
Maybe check
for-
your Microsoft settings in Windows.
I
Yeah,
think
maybe
you should
the-
re-roll
Oh.
that racial trait,
Oh,
annoying
I know
bastard.
what it might be. Have you got a webcam plugged into your computer somewhere?
No.
Or some other form of mic? Because Discord for me the other day defaulted to the webcam's mic instead of my headset.
I don't believe so.
That's odd because it's set to default, and that is the default that Windows sets.
Oh,
Yeah, when I
Yeah,
plugged
it
the
was
webcam
using-
in, it changed the whole default.
Yeah, it was using the microphone actually on my laptop.
very good.
I win.
You're gonna have to cut this out. Okay, continuing.
Well, I mean, yeah, my character like stops everyone during the travels and is like, I happen to have a rapier. If anyone would like to use this weapon, I'm not very good with these long blades. Who would like to have it? And it's literally just a +1 rapier.
I'll take it if no one else wants it.
But if you use your weapon two-handed, I don't think it's gonna.
No, but I'll
help you
just
much.
use my shield all the time.
You do notice during your travels that Adrian is using rapiers.
Oh, is
Okay.
it? Might
Yes.
make more sense for Adrian to take it. If only he'd speak up.
Fine.
Why?
You play like a timid halfling. Don't forget about me, guys.
Okay, well, I guess I would offer it to Adrian then. Like, why not? If he's mainly using rapiers, sure, it's the weapon for him.
I accept.
I'm
Alright.
also gonna go confront Mr. Deshawn about a certain dagger that he has. Not the black diamond one, the other one.
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Deshawn, you've been in the possession of a certain dagger for some time now. As you know, I don't have anything magical except for my ring. Would you be willing to trade for something?
Deshaun looks at their one. Maybe. Would you happen to have a set of dice?
No set of dice. Sorry about that.
What could you possibly offer me then?
Let's see. He also has a ruby ring. I have the books, so I'm gonna keep those. I have the warg statuette.
Ooh,
Mm,
where's the song buggy?
that's fine. So I'm gonna show him the warg statuette. But need I remind you, you are carrying a lot of our spoils, so to say.
I am distributing them as I see fit. And then he just points at Schneider's character.
Oh yes,
Just
that is all
gave him
fine,
a
but
weapon.
you're carrying several magical daggers, don't you?
I specifically tried to hide the fact from everyone else that I actually have this dagger. Would he know that I have it?
I have asked you before for it, so I was a bit more angry then.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I told him, maybe not. I'm not sure.
Well, we can resolve this with a roll, or we can resolve this with you guys.
Let's roll for it.
Yeah, which skill?
Both roll wisdom. Unskilled.
Unskilled wisdom?
Yes, unskilled wisdom.
God damn it, I'm trying to persuade him. I'm really good at persuasion.
Yeah, but you need to recall if you actually know about dagger. Wisdom is.
Oh, okay.
So whoever beats the score.
Advantage?
No.
3.
So you do
I-
not know about the dagger.
I mean, I do have an inspiration point.
For that.
He used the inspiration
Wow.
literally to know that I have a dagger in my pocket. Okay.
Okay, no, it's fine. I won't.
Well, so I'm trying to inquire if he
Hey,
has
up
anything
to you,
other
man.
than...
Up to you.
I'm just trying to inquire that if he has anything other.
Oh,
The
no, it's
daggers.
fine.